What's going on, movie meals? A crazy week, 4th of July. I mean, it was a few days ago. Happy 4th of July to everybody who celebrated. Hope you had a great, safe 4th of July. Saw two movies, a trailer dropped as well, so there'll be a few videos back to back to back. Hopefully, Kyle sends me some clips so we can clip him in. But we're going to start with Spidey, that I saw this weekend, non-spoiler, and I got to say positives. I love this movie. I loved this movie. I thought they knocked it out of the park. It was a little weird that this was the end of Phase 4, but it still worked for me. I really, really love Peter's arc. It feels like he's taken over now the best mantle of the best arc in the MCU, which was go from Tony to Cap, or to Peter. I mean, I do love Cap's arc, but I thought this movie was funny. The action was great. Jake Gyllenhaal killed it. It really, really worked for me on every level. Tom Holland brings it, Zendaya brings it, all of that works. I really loved Zendaya in this movie. I really liked the whole cast overall. I thought they really did a great job. And it worked on every single level for me.
What is going on, Movie Meals? I'm here to talk to you guys about Spider-Man Far From Home, and let me tell you, I have nothing but great things to say about this movie. Not only is it just a great Spider-Man movie in general, but it's also just a great continuation from what we got from the insane stakes that were in Endgame. A lot of questions are answered after the events of Endgame. They do explain like how the world is reacting to the events going forward and into the future of the MCU. It does tie those knots. It doesn't tie it up all together, but at least explains a lot more about what's going to happen in the years to come for the MCU, as well as also sets up the stakes that we're going to have for Phase 4, especially for Spider-Man as a character and a big staple to the MCU. Well, hopefully, depending on if Sony decides to try anything else or not, or decide to move away from the MCU. But I think they'll still stick around. I think they have a good place with where they're going with this character. Something very different. I don't want to spoil anything, but I think it's going to set up a lot of stakes for Spider-Man the character and for the MCU in general, which I really, really enjoyed about it. But anyway, as a Spider-Man movie as a whole, it's really awesome. I almost think that I like it a step up more than I did for Spider-Man Homecoming, because I think everything about what was done in Homecoming was taken a step further. I think the acting all was taken a step further, especially from Tom Holland, who still kills it, not only as Peter Parker, but as Spider-Man. Tom Holland as an actor really uses his acting abilities and takes the character to another level on a personal level, as well as kind of a worldwide stakes level, because this is all taking place in Europe now. We're not in New York City anymore, and it's really cool to see how he goes with reacting to the events of Endgame. Again, whether there's spoilers or not, I just don't want to give anything away for you guys yet, because the movie still has come out from almost a week ago. But Tom Holland kills it as the character. He does such a phenomenal job on all emotional levels, as well as just on all levels of this character and what this character has to go through. And the best moments for me when it comes to Tom Holland was when he was interacting with all of his classmates. Once again, that all still works, especially with his best friend Ned, but also with Zendaya's MJ, who they really take this character and flesh her out a lot more and make her a lot more likable, I think, than as compared to in Homecoming. Not to say that she wasn't likable, but just rather that they took the time to make her a little bit more fleshed out to where I think audiences will be. They really take this character and flesh her out a lot more and make her a lot more likable, I think, than as compared to in Homecoming. Not to say that she wasn't likable, but just rather that they took the time to make her a little bit more fleshed out to where I think audiences will be on board with her more. Sure, she's not going to be comic book accurate to maybe some fans liking, but I think it's at least something different as a friend of Peter's, or as a love interest of Peter's anyway, and I think that's a really cool sign, because I want different stuff out of this Spider-Man universe, and I think that's what we're getting thanks to this new franchise. And of course, people are asking, people are talking about Mysterio. We finally have Mysterio in the MCU in a Spider-Man movie, and Jake Gyllenhaal, he does a great job with this character. I think comic book fans are really going to enjoy this version of the character. I think people are going to like the interactions between him and Tom Holland. Jake Gyllenhaal and Tom Holland, they're just so great. They have such great chemistry together, and Jake Gyllenhaal really makes this character stand out and makes it come to understand as why he's like one of the most popular Spider-Man villains. At least in my opinion, he's one of the most popular. There's not really too much else bad to say about this movie. Like I said, everything is almost taken up a step further than from Homecoming. I think director John Watts really did a good job with all the action that was done in Homecoming, but I think he feels a lot more comfortable with being able to do action, and he really takes it a step further to where there's so many great Spider-Man action scenes where I was just blown away by it, and stuff that I just wasn't expecting when it comes to Spider-Man and how he uses his abilities and his web sling to do certain stunt works and all that. So I thought that was a really, really great job by that director as well. And then really, like I said, not many negatives here. Maybe a little bit pacing issues. Maybe some fans just won't like how the ways that some characters turn out, whether it's with Peter Parker, whether it's with MJ, or what not have you. But for me, it all works. Like I said, I almost think I like this more than Homecoming personally, but I'm not taking away from Homecoming as well. Homecoming is still a great, great movie, and maybe I'll change my mind in the future, but at least for right now, I would say if you're an MCU fan, if you're a Spider-Man fan, you should really, really check this one out. I think you all are going to like it.
Any negatives I have? My only one negative was that maybe I thought it was a little fast-paced in the beginning. It felt like we were rushing, which could be representative of Peter, that he gets back and just is trying to rush to not being a hero anymore. But for me, it didn't work as well. I think I do still like the first one a little bit more. But that's not a knock. I think this is one of the best ones they've done. I think it was a great way to end Phase 4, and I absolutely loved it. So I'm gonna go see it again this week with my dad. But that's how much I loved it. I thought it was a really great movie. I thought John Watts brought it to the table again. Tom Holland, the suit. There are a lot of really great moments with Peter learning and accepting what happens in Endgame, and the responsibility of being a hero, and the way the film ends. Both post-credit scenes are great. The way it ends really sets up you for excitement for the next one, because you just don't know what's gonna happen now, and I love that. I love that. So guys, please go check it out in theaters. Spider-Man: Far From Home. Comment below your thoughts. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and as always, thanks for watching, Mom.